Okay, fine.
Uh-huh. Hello, everybody. We are back. Man, it has been a while, family. But I'm Brian, and Vanessa's on her way, and we are the Pals, man. We have not been live on our show in a while, man. The Powwow with the Pals, baby. We are back. We haven't been live in a minute, man, because life has been lifing, man. We know life comes and goes and comes in various forms, but life has definitely been lifing. So with that being said, we know how everything has transpired with your life. Just look at what's going on in everybody's individual's life and everything. So we are live tonight just to chop it up with you, and we're going to talk about something that's really, really, really important in relationships. It is how to deal with grief, or how do you help your spouse or significant other deal with grief. Grief is a real, real, real touchy subject because grief is something that you have uh that everybody in this world will go through grief. If you haven't, keep living. You will experience grief in your life. That's just the way it is. That's the way life has dealt us the hand, that we will be dealing with grief in our lifetimes. So that is without being said that life will be lifing, and we will have to deal with grief. So grief is one of the key components of life, because when you live, you will experience grief. We got Vanessa in the building,
Hey, y'all.
so we're gonna talk about that tonight. But like I say, life has been life, and that's why we haven't been really on and everything. But we're gonna come back out, continue to put out content that's gonna help married couples, people that's married, people that want to get married. So we're gonna put out content that's gonna help everybody and individuals. So, how was your day today?
It was good.
It was good.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay.
How was yours?
It was pretty good. I mean, finishing up at a job, getting ready to start a new endeavor,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about that because this new endeavor is going to be something different.
Yeah.
It's go be something different. It's a whole new adventure that I'm going to be facing, and I'm excited about it. So we're just going to just do what we have to do with our endeavors and everything. So uh, what you do today at work? Did you do a lot of cooking today?
It wasn't too much. We just did some simple things. Off tomorrow, so I got a long.
Are you off tomorrow?
Mhm.
That's what's up.
So got a busy weekend and week ahead
Oh, yeah, yeah,
with mom. So,
yeah. Life is just life, and
mm, but
we
it's all good.
we deal with it and everything. Sometimes we just built for it, built for the struggle, built for the
Mhm.
challenges and everything, man. Built for
Yep.
life, man. That's all I can say. You have to deal with it and everything. So
Yeah.
uh I'm excited. I'm just excited to get back to doing something
Yeah.
that we were basically called to do.
And
What
we were supposed to do the podcast last week. We were going to have married women on, but I'm making a call for all the ladies that are married, all the wives. If you would like to be on the podcast, we just want to talk about, being married and all the things that come along with marriage, whether it's, the kids, whether they're young or grown, or, just dealing with the different things in life, um, as being, married, So I would just like to get some good married women on here that can be transparent and just talk about the ups and downs of marriage, the ins and outs of marriage, and all that good stuff. So, yeah, I need you on here. So we'll probably do it sometime in like mid-September. So I'll be putting out some plugs, or posts, just to get people to chime in and say that they would like to be on the podcast that particular day.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yep,
That's gonna be good. That's gonna be good
Mhm.
because that's something that's much needed and everything. And I'm gonna vice versa do something for the men later on down the line as well. Because these are conversations that we gotta have as married couples, because iron do sharpens iron, and we gotta be
Mhm.
able to pull and grab strength from one another to help us through this marriage journey that we have. So it can be a struggle at times. So uh if you guys are on, just like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Share the videos. Uh, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. And we are I'm excited about everything that we are embarking upon, new adventures and everything. We know uh we always, and I'm gonna touch on something tonight that we always talk about and everything, and this ties into grief as well.
Mhm.
So this is something that we go really touch on and everything. And I'm excited about just everything. I'm thankful to God for a lot of things that we have going on and everything. uh it's just a lot going on. And I'm just really excited about just life in general and everything. Excited that he's elevating me and helping me out, because I know me, I know how I can be and everything. So I am just really thankful that God is just, God is who he is, but we are still human as well. We still have a human side of things. So
Yep.
uh we are still human. We still have emotional ties at times. We still feel a certain way sometimes,
Mhm.
and we still gonna be human. So what else? What else? You got a big weekend ahead of you and everything. Definitely gonna be praying for you, covering you and everything, just to make sure that you are okay with this surgery and everything. And
Mhm.
we know surgery is surgery and everything,
Yeah.
and we know God controls it, but it's still surgery, and we just want to just make sure that she is covered, that your mom is covered during the surgery. We ask God to protect her, guide the hand of the surgeon and
Yeah.
everything, so that everything can be perfect and
Yeah.
everything can work out for itself and everything. Uh, our parents are getting up there, babe.
Mhm.
They're getting up there.
Yeah.
They are getting up there in age. So we have got to, you cherish every moment that you have. I got pictures, and that's why when I get around my mom, I take a lot of pictures and everything.
Yeah.
And just to have them. I really want to do that thing. You put uh paint on their arms and let them hug you with white t-shirts on and
Or
stuff,
sweatshirts.
or
Yeah.
sweatshirts and stuff. I really want to do that. That is so dope, man.
Mhm.
And just have that, just do that and let them hug you. And you can have that shirt forever. When I say you can have it forever, you can just have it forever, and it can be just a keepsake that you have. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that I really think that's so amazing and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, man. I just want to just do a lot of stuff, man. I'm really excited about this new endeavor. I know I put it out on Facebook a little while ago about answered my prayer for this endeavor to bless me and my family. And sure enough, what happened? He answered my prayer. He blessed us with that endeavor and everything. And we are just finna get ready to elevate and everything. So we just really thankful for what has been done thus far in our lives and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Well, let's get into it.
yeah, I'm just sending a couple invites out and everything, and making sure we got people on,
We do.
jumping in the room and stuff. We thank everybody for tuning in. If you're in and everything, we really appreciate you guys. And we want to say something just to kind of just help you. We got some heavy hitters coming to the show. Heavy hitters, married couples, man, that's going to really just enlighten us. I mean, you got a couple that's coming with 60 plus years of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And they have some information to share with us that's really going to enlighten us as a married couple and everything. So I can't wait to have them on. We have another couple who's going to be on, who's going to share their insights. Got a cousin, her and her husband's going to be on there, going to share the insights and everything. And before we go any further, I wanted to issue heartfelt condolence to my cousin Audrey and Billy and the loss of Billy's mom and everything. Billy cared for his mom and everything, and my heart goes out to Billy and Audrey right now during this difficult time. So we just pray God's comfort over them and everything, because that's the main thing. We want God's comfort and God's peace to kind of rest over them and everything. And grief is serious. Grief is real. And we deal with so many facets of grief and aspects of grief. It is something serious, man. And we just want everybody to know that it's serious. It's serious. So we're gonna jump off into our topic for this evening. I'm sending out the last few of the little invites and everything, and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about the big thing, the big G, the big G, which is grief. So when I say grief, what comes to your mind about grief?
I mean, grief can be perceived in different ways. Grief could be the death of someone, a loved one. Grief could be the loss of a friendship. Grief could be leaving, one thing, going to another. It could be, even grief in marriage, as far as like, a couple that is, going through a divorce or, something like that. So there's different things that you can grieve.
Grief.
Grief is just not death, so it's different things that grief could be.
That's true. That's true. Grief comes in many ways, shapes, and forms and everything. And you never know how grief is going to really hit you until it actually hits you and everything.
Right.
And it just shows you, hey, this is what I got to do to prepare myself for grief and everything, because it is a preparation. It's really, really a preparation. You have to prepare yourself for grief and everything. So
and sometimes you can't.
Sometimes you can't.
You can't prepare yourself for grief. I mean, because when it comes, it comes.
It does.
And that's something that you have no control over. I think a lot of people they try to control how grief is supposed to happen,
Yeah.
but you can't do that. You can't control, or they try to control when somebody is, like in death. You try to control how somebody is leaving, or when they leave and stuff like that, but you can't. That's something that's left up to God. You can't do that, you know.
Yeah.
um
Oh, I can't wait till we go dive into that because
yeah, that's
I want
something that's with
everybody to
God.
really notice something about that, about when we talk about that portion of the grief and everything.
Hmm.
But simply put, that when we talk about grief, uh it's just being there. Just grief is just like a deep felt loss of a family member, friend, relationship. It's just something that's just devastating. Grief
Hmm.
is a devastating loss that really hits and
Hmm.
impacts people in different various ways and everything. So grief can come in many shapes and forms and everything. But now, uh the question is, how do you deal with that when grief comes to your doorstep? Like our situation, prime example, we had a situation, me and Vanessa, we both lost our fathers in 2020.
Hmm.
My father was tragically taken away from us. Her father ended up passing away a month and a half later. So, how do we deal with that grief?
and our
One,
and our grief was different
mhm,
because, like you said, your dad was tragically taken, and
yeah,
then my dad had been sick for a while.
mhm,
So it was almost like we knew he was going to pass away, but you can never be prepared for somebody passing away. You just can't. Um, so I just think that, um, like during that time, even though we were dealing with the loss of my father-in-law, um, I still had to be strong and be there for him. And then at the same time, he was there for me. But it was a lot because we didn't think that it would just happen just, a month apart. One minute we're still, we burying one dad and then have to turn around and bury the other one. It was a lot. But one thing that we did is, after my father-in-law passed, is we went to grief counseling.
and that was big for
Yeah,
us, going through grief
going
counseling.
through grief counseling. And I remember I explained to the counselor that I'm almost like, really, I'm on the edge because every time my mom calls me, or every time the phone rings from her, I feel like that's the call.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's always like you just picture, like, that's the call.
Uh,
But like I told him, I said, I just feel like it's just that, I didn't want to think that, but that's kind of like how I was. Like, my anxiety was so built up.
yeah,
And sometimes that's the thing. We let our anxiety get the best of us instead of just saying, we have to let God's will be done.
and that's perfect thing.
You have to
Uh,
let God's will be done, because if you don't, your anxiety will kick in and you'll be just all over the place, just like, oh my gosh, And the way that my dad ended up passing, it wasn't even the way that I was thinking.
mhm,
It's like you prepared yourself for this, but then it's like that's not even the way it's going to happen.
right.
So,
And when we talk about that portion of grief, like when you just said, how we always say, God, let your will be done.
mhm.
Everybody prays that prayer. Lord,
Yeah.
let your will be done. Let your will be done.
Not my will, but let your will
Let
be
your
done.
will be done.
Mhm.
But now we pray that prayer and we ask the Lord to let his will be done.
Mhm.
But are we really ready for God's will to be done? We say let your will be done,
Mhm.
but are we really ready for his will to be done
Yeah.
in that situation? 90% of the time, we're not ready. We say it because it's becoming cliche. Lord, let your
Yeah.
will be done
Yeah.
and everything. But we're not mentally, emotionally ready for his will to be done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just simple as that. We're not ready for God's will to be done.
Right.
And we say it, we pray it, but we are actually not ready for his will to be done. And sometimes by us saying, Lord, let your will be done, it just takes us and everything. And then when his will is done, then we start getting upset and angry. We get angry at God. And God knows we get angry at him.
Yeah.
And everything for taking someone that's close and that's near and dear to us. But we always pray for healing for our spouse, for our loved ones that's suffering and everything. Yeah. And healing, and this is what I was taught, and I heard a pastor say before, healing is sometimes on the other side. Mm-hmm. And the we don't want to accept that a lot of times. But a person's healing could be on the other side. Yeah. And everything. And we are selfish. That's selfish of us to just want them to be healed and everything. And don't tell them what they may be suffering from or going through. We just say heal them, heal them, heal them. Yeah. We don't know what the ramifications of the healing is going to entail. Yeah. So we don't know what the healing is going to take place and entail. So,
like Audrey said, healing can be death.
Healing, yes, Audrey. And Audrey, we love you. Yeah. And like I said earlier, if you weren't on earlier, we're praying for you guys. You and Billy, we praying for God's comfort and to come over you and your God's strength to fall over you guys and everything. Yeah.
But that's true. Healing can be done in death because I know, like, even like when with my dad, he had suffered for probably like he had congestive heart failure, and he also had dementia too. But we had seen him suffer for a while, and I just felt like, Lord, I know I want to be selfish and have him to be here, but at the same time, I didn't want to see him suffering. It was hard to see him like that. So, we were prepared for him to come back home. They had put him in hospice. And, we got all the information, got him all registered in and stuff for hospice and spent time with them and everything. And they were going to order the bed and stuff for him to come home because he was just in hospice. During that time, it was around COVID. Mm-hmm. And so they told us, they was like, well, he needs to remain here in hospice until we can order a bed for him to have at the house, right. Which they didn't know how long that was going to be because of, the pandemic and stuff. So we were like, okay, that's fine. So in the meantime, we were preparing for him to come home and we taking care of him and everything like that. Mm-hmm. Well, got him signed in to hospice and all that stuff. And that was probably like that afternoon about 2 something when he got there. My dad was gone probably by, I think like by midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So, I went in there. When he got to hospice, I went in there and talked to him.
Is he still conscious?
He couldn't talk. Mm-hmm. But he knew it was me. He followed me around the room with his eyes. Mm-hmm. And I just talked to him and, prayed over him and everything and just talked to him. Yeah. And, I told him, I said, Daddy, I said, don't worry about Mom. We got her. I said, we're going to take care of her. Don't worry about her. Mm-hmm. I said, she'll be fine. And I said, just, just relax. I said, just know that we love you. And if you're still here, we're going to take care of you and everything. And he just looked at me and, he couldn't say nothing. But at that point, when I left out the room, deep down, I knew within that that would be the last time. I just knew it.
Just had a feeling.
I just had a feeling, I just really had a
And
feeling.
and with that, we over the years, I know I have experienced some losses and everything. Not only my dad, but I experienced loss of my grandmother, aunts, uncles. I experienced one of my first real big heartfelt losses was my granddad, and next heartfelt loss was my aunt Brenda, which is Audrey's mom. She was so amazing. I wish you could have definitely met her and everything. And her and my mom shared the same birthday, September the 20th. And I'm telling you, that was one of the most heart-wrenching losses and everything because she spoke into everybody. She spoke into our lives and stuff, and she spoke into everybody she met. She encouraged them, and she was just awesome.
Yeah.
That was one of my biggest losses too, and everything.
Yeah.
When I lost my grandmother, we was right there all day by her bedside and everything. And I'll never forget, we was playing Eddie James as the deer. And she just was, we just played that song, kept it on repeat because she loved Eddie James. That song was just an amazing song.
Yeah.
That right there helped and everything. And then I just
And
see
just
her
being with
transition. Being with family and everything during that time. And grief is something that I was like, Lord, man, especially with my dad. I was angry at people. I was to the point that I wanted to do something to the young man that killed my dad. I really wanted to do something to him. I was going to do something to him. I wanted to do something to I wanted him to experience the same type of hurt and pain that he made me, my brother, my sisters, all my siblings feel. My mother, my stepmom, I wanted him to feel that type of pain that we felt and everything. And I didn't care what was the ramifications of it. I wanted him to feel that pain and everything. But I was getting ready to do something that I shouldn't have been thinking about doing and everything, but I got a call from my son. He was like, Dad, he said, you're going to come home. And I ended up driving back to Peoria. I ended up driving back home. But it's just certain things, certain nuances. So I was really messed up. I mean, when I'm like, you know what? We have to go through this. And I called Dr. Day up here. He was our counselor, and he walked us through it step by step. And he was an older doc. He was an older counselor and everything. And he was getting ready to retire and everything. And he just loved talking to people and everything. And he helped us kind of navigate the waters with me dealing with what I was dealing with and Vanessa dealing with what she was going with, because she was impacted twice. I mean, she was impacted with me and my dad, and then the thing that she was going with her dad and everything. So the impact hit her a couple times and everything. So we really had to talk to a counselor and everything. And it's people to this day, babe, people to this day that's still experiencing grief that still keep it bottled up. You got to release that grief. You got to talk to somebody. You got to talk to somebody. You got to have that support system to help you deal with that grief. You have to. You can't just keep it inside because you will implode and everything. And you'll say things that you really don't mean. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Yeah. And I think too, And it's true. They always say, well, don't say that. That's not true. But it is true. In our community, we try not to say, we try to say, oh, we don't need therapy or we don't need counseling and stuff like that. We
Yes.
do. We do. Because we be the first ones to say, oh, I'm fine. Oh, I'm fine. No,
Yes.
you're not fine. You need help. You need to talk to
You need to
somebody
talk to somebody.
besides your own family members. You need to just talk to somebody that don't even know you, but can help you navigate, like you said, through the waters.
Navigate those waters.
And we need that. It's nothing wrong with it.
We do. It's nothing wrong with that.
Yep, Audrey, you have to acknowledge it so you can deal with it. So first you have to acknowledge it.
You have to acknowledge
and
the
then
grief.
you gotta do the work. Like Iyanla used to always say, you gotta do the work.
Because once you acknowledge that and you go through the counseling, and like you say, it's really difficult in our community, the African American community, but it's even more difficult from African American male standpoint.
Yeah.
Men think that counseling is weak.
Yeah.
Men don't want to go through counseling. They want to try to deal with it themselves. And we can't deal with it ourselves all the time. We have to have a release. We got to have an outlet to let this out.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, we are killing ourselves, keeping this bottled up.
Yeah.
We have to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's okay to cry, release tears and everything. It's okay.
Because let me tell you this.
We keep this bottled up inside, and then it eats away at us and eats away at us, and then we implode, and then we like, what did I just do?
Yeah. And then on top of that, like when you go through grief counseling, it helps relieve all of that stress.
It
all
does.
of that.
You know
what I'm saying? And one thing with me, like even
Ebony said, definitely needed. Yes, you're right, Eb. It's definitely needed in our community.
We went through the grief counseling. After that, I still was trying to be strong. I noticed, even if I think about it now, when my dad passed, I was very strong for my mom. I didn't want to break down. I didn't want to do nothing. I just was like, I got to be strong for her. I don't want to cry because I have to be strong for her. We so busy trying to be strong for everybody else instead of worrying about ourselves. And then like months later, here I am having a breakdown because I haven't grieved properly.
And so it is a proper way of grieving too.
So then I went back to therapy, and it wasn't even grief therapy. It was just trying to get myself back together. Like, okay, because at that time, like I said, we were in the pandemic. So I wasn't working because I'm a chef. So I couldn't work anywhere because a lot of places were closed down. Yeah. And then I started gaining all this weight, because I was just, like grieving,
At least you didn't get pregnant like a lot of people that got pregnant on that. There was a lot of pandemic pregnancies out there now. Pandemic pregnancies, what we call it.
Yeah. And so we just, I went to Weight Watchers, and I'm like, I need to get this weight off me. Couldn't even do it. Couldn't even do the Weight Watch. I was doing stuff and I wasn't losing the weight. Now I had did Weight Watchers before then and had lost like 30 pounds. And I'm like, what is going on? Because I was still eating the food. I would go to the thing like I'm just going, paying for the counseling when I got health insurance that could have been going for free, but I'm going to Weight Watchers like a fool. You know what I'm saying? And thinking I'm just, I need to lose weight or whatever. But no, I had to change my diet. I had to do what I needed to do. I had to do the work. You have to do the work.
Gotta put in the work, man.
Yeah. And you have to understand, we as people, we have to understand and call a thing a thing. And if you dealing with something, you need to deal with it.
Yes. You gotta tackle it head on and stuff. And like I say, I want to get back to my men, man. It is okay to release Really, it's okay to release, man, because we sometimes you think
Mhm.
it's non-masculine to shed
Yeah.
tears and everything. And I mean, even if you get off by yourself and everything,
Yeah.
it's okay. It's
Mhm.
okay, man. That's a good, healthy outlet and everything.
Yeah.
And some of the ways you can help people through grief. We're gonna share some with you guys too.
Yeah.
Like I just said, crying and everything. That's what you call healthy grieving.
Yeah.
You got to encourage that person to have healthy grieving.
Healthy grieving.
That is so important, man. The healthy grieving aspect of it and everything. So you want to encourage healthy grieving. That's very, very, very important. Also, you want to be patient.
Yeah.
When that person, your spouse, we're talking about your spouse now, spouse or significant other, when they are grieving, we have got to be patient.
Mhm.
We got to be patient with that person.
Yeah.
We got to be patient with them and everything. And we just have to be patient, just to experience the patience. And if you don't have patience, Lord, help me be patient with my spouse during this
Yeah.
difficult time and everything.
And I'm gonna say this too. Know when to say something and know when to say something to your spouse, but also know how to give them their space.
Yes. And that was another one, giving them space.
Yep, you got to give
You
them
got to give them space. And this one right here is very profound
Don't
too.
try to fix it.
Don't try to fix the grief.
No.
We always try to say it's gonna be okay. It's
Yeah.
gonna be okay. Don't try to fix that grief or the
Mhm.
way they grieve. And don't try to fix it. That's one of the biggest problems when it comes to grief.
Yeah.
We always try to fix it.
Yeah.
We can't fix it. We only thing that can fix it is time, prayer, and God's comfort. That's some of the things that can only things that can fix the grief and everything.
Yeah.
We can't try to fix. We can't fix it. Also, you got to understand the grief process.
Yeah.
You got to understand it's a process, and grieving may take months, days. It may take years.
Mhm.
I still know people who still grieving from the loss of a mother,
Yeah.
the loss of a brother, the
Or
loss of a grandmother, the loss of a sister, the
Yeah.
loss of a father. I still know people that
Yeah.
still grieving, and it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
They're still grieving that person and everything.
Yeah.
You never forget them. You hold tight to the memories and everything, but you never forget them. And you got to understand that grief is a process,
Yeah.
and we got to be able to be understanding of that process and everything. Just listen, like I say, all the time we try to fix problems by speaking. Sometimes it's just okay for us to listen.
Mhm.
Just listen. Listen to that person. If even if that person just crying, just sit right there with them while they crying. That means so much to an individual. You just sit there because you're present.
Yeah.
You're being present. So be there for them. Just sit through it. Don't even speak. Just listen.
Yeah.
One thing I was taught, uh, one thing I was taught years ago, you got two ears and one mouth. Why is that? You're supposed to listen twice as much as you speak.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest things that I always know. Listen twice as much as you speak.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I want to piggyback on
uh-huh.
give them space.
Yeah.
So I know, like, for me and you, sometimes our space was when I had to go over to my mom's because my mom and dad, they don't live in they didn't live in St. Louis.
Yeah.
They live in Iowa. So,
Uh-huh.
Going back and forth, we're like pretty much in the middle. So like
Yeah.
we're like a little bit over 2.5 hours from St. Louis. Then
Mhm.
I'm like an hour and a half from my mom. So, just trying to that was like giving space right there because I had to go over. I was already there when it happened when my dad transitioned,
Uh-huh.
but I stayed like maybe 2 or 3 days after that then I had to come back home just to make sure, some stuff was taken care of and, get some more clothes and all that because I had Kendall with me and stuff.
Yeah.
Then had to go back, stay until, get the stuff together, for the funeral, help with that, me and my siblings. Then after we did that, I had the funeral and stuff. So it was times where I was gone for like, a week and still not wanting to leave my mom by her, totally by herself because, she was still trying to navigate just being a widow, being in a house, by herself.
And how long were they married?
They were married for 50, I think it was like 52, 53 years.
So yeah, that's 50 years with this person.
Yeah.
And that has became a part of your
teenagers.
everything. So and you losing them, and that's significant.
Yeah.
That was really, really significant and everything.
Yeah.
You just know that is really, really, really crucial and everything. Just that piece of it and everything. But also they got to find a support system.
Yeah.
Got to find a support system.
And that goes back to therapy.
Yes, it goes back to therapy and everything. Just finding someone who can just provide counseling, professional support. That is huge, man. You got to find that support system because that's one of the ways that's going to get you through that and everything. The support and just talking and talking. That's why when you ever go to a counseling session, a lot of times the counselors don't say nothing. They are just listening. And listening. And listening. So
and not only does that go for the spouses, but when you have children involved too,
yes,
they also need
they need support too.
They need support too. We had to check in on our kids because they lost both of their grandfathers the same time.
Yes.
And one thing about our daughter, she's special needs, but even though I was so busy just trying to process it all myself, I didn't know how she was processing it.
Yeah.
And she knew what a funeral was. Like once we had told her, that, both her Papa, Papa was gone, Papa D was gone, and Papa Timmons was gone. She didn't want to go to the funeral because I felt like she didn't know how to process it. I didn't know how to help her process through it because I was still kind of dealing with it myself. But I didn't make her say okay, you gotta go, you gotta go. I didn't do that.
And that was the same thing like at my father's funeral because my daughter, Kendall was at the wake.
Yeah,
and she saw him laying up there in the casket, and the look on her face, like, okay, I know something's not right. Yeah, and everything. Her processing that,
and what? It's funny you said that because I never knew that.
Yeah,
I knew she was there, but
she looked by being I was so attentive to her and everything just to make sure she was okay, and she just looked over there, looked at him in the casket and stuff, and she just looked, and she was looking around at everybody and everything, and then she just sat back down, and she looked down on her tablet, and then she looked back up. These are some of the things that I noticed about Kendall and everything, and I looked at that and I saw her, and she was just like, oh man. And then the thing that really got us with her was the night when we were back at home, and in the middle of the night she just woke up crying. And she said, Papa D was here. Papa D, and that was one of that made the hair on my arm stand up. Yeah. When she said Papa D was here, because she knew he was no longer with us, but she said Papa D was here, and that was really, really, really huge because she my dad loved all the grandkids, but
Mhm.
his Kindle girl was one of his special ones and
Mhm.
everything. So he loved his Kindle girl and everything. And that was big. That was
Yeah.
big. But
But
he
she processing her own. She didn't even want to go see. So at my dad's funeral,
mhm.
she didn't even go, and she wouldn't even go into the funeral home.
No,
Um,
she didn't. She stayed
she
outside.
stayed outside until one of my friends,
Uh-huh.
uh, she came and I said, Jody, can you come and take Kendall with you? I said she doesn't want to go. She said that's fine. She said she can come spend the day with me, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'll drop her back off whenever you want me to. She said,
Yeah.
don't, push her into, doing something, that she may not be ready for that yet.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay. And so she came and got her and stuff. My friend, she went and paid respects, and, she came back out, and her and Kendall went, and just hung out and
They
stuff.
left. Yeah.
And that was big for me because she didn't have to do that, but I'm glad that she did because I don't know what I would what Kendall would have did.
Yeah. And
And
that
then
ties back into that support system.
yeah,
And that
yeah,
ties back into the huge part of the support system that we had to deal with and everything.
yeah.
Also another thing about dealing with grief and supporting your spouse during grief is uh sometimes it's okay. It's when your partner's silent, don't press them to talk and everything. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay. Get comfortable with that silence that your spouse is going through because they're not going to say nothing and everything because they still compartmentalizing things and
Yeah.
letting things process and everything.
Even the
So
kids.
even the kids.
Because
So
I think even with David, I wanted him to go to counseling, but I remember asking him, I said, David, I said, I'm asking you as a mother, how are you with all of this?
uh-huh.
And I remember he had a breakdown because he had saw the video when dad had got killed, and he broke down. He was upset. He was mad,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Now when it came, to my dad, I think all of us were still in shock,
We're
just
probably
about,
still in shock about my dad and
yeah.
everything. And then
And we
your
were
dad.
just, yeah, it was like, really, you
Yeah.
know. So, but I asked him, I said, David, I said, how are you doing? He said, I think I'm just processing it in my own way.
Yes.
And when he said that, I said, okay. And that's when you offer prayer. You just
Yeah.
you pray for your children, you pray for your spouse, because you know, you don't know how each person is processing it. You just know
Yeah.
that they are processing it in their own way. So
And one thing I'm so thankful for with you is you covered me
mhm,
during this time and everything. And when we lost my dad and we were here asleep and everything, you came and prayed over me. I was halfway asleep, but I was
mhm,
still I was in and out. You anointed and prayed over me. You prayed over. Then I heard you go in David's room, pray over him. Then I heard you go in Kendall's room and pray over her.
mhm,
So that was really really big. And I know when you were asleep a couple times, I came, I prayed over you. I prayed over our kids. Sometimes we got to cover them, and we got to cover our spouse as well as our spouse
all the
covering
time.
us and everything because it is a nonstop journey with this grief and everything, and you have to be there for each other and
Mhm,
everything. And also, I think you may have touched on it a little bit earlier, but you got to give that person space, give them a
mhm,
little bit of space. So whatever outlet a person has to deal with grief, let them get that outlet.
mhm.
Let them get that outlet. An
Yeah,
outlet could be a hobby.
yeah,
It could be just talking. It could be fishing. It could be
yeah.
going to the gun range or doing
Going for
something,
a walk.
going for a walk, going golfing,
Yeah,
uh, doing other activities, man, coaching sports. Those can be outlets and everything.
yeah,
And we all need healthy outlets and
yeah,
everything because if we're just constantly just worried and stressed about this and this and this and this, we
yeah.
got to have outlets.
But don't let don't let that outlet mask your grief.
That's a good point.
Don't let it mask your grief, because even though you still busy and doing stuff, you still have to deal with it.
You still got to deal with that grief.
Yeah. You
You
still
still
got
got to deal with the grief. And also with the grief, you know, I'm gonna tell you another big key component about dealing with grief. Talking about the person who died.
Yeah.
That's how you heal.
Yeah.
That is how you heal.
Yeah.
Talk about that person who passed away.
Yeah.
Talk about
The
like
good,
I
funny times.
that's what really got me through, God. I'm telling you, that's what really got me through the grief with my dad. Every time I was asked to talk about him and everything, that was my healing process and everything. That helped me get through the grieving process just by talking about it. Talking about him, the way he was, the way he dealt with things, just his whole demeanor in life. So that's what helped me get through my grieving process about my dad and everything. Just talking about him, the person he was, the things he used to do and everything. So I love that aspect of it. I talked about it, and that's what really, that was my healing right there.
Yeah.
When every time I talked about him and shared about him to people, individuals, that was me getting one step closer to coming to grits with healing. You'll never fully heal, but it helps you to deal with it and cope with the grief a whole lot better just by talking about it.
Yeah.
Man, these are some of the things, like I say, just it's gonna help you through the things we shared. It should help you, definitely help you with your partner, your spouse, significant other, to help you guys lean on each other through the grieving process and everything, because it is very important to really have these healthy outlets and reaching out and everything. And
I like that.
reaching out, definitely reach out and everything. And a lot of times after funerals and everything, and after a person is buried, people people check on you and call you and see how you're doing and everything. But after the funeral and everything, and after the person is gone, a couple months or so afterwards, the phone calls slow down, the calls, the text messages, they stop and everything. And that's when an individual really needs a person, because that's when that grief is really kicking in, when people are not checking on them and everything. So definitely reach out to them and check on them.
Even after,
that's big.
Even months later, still check on them, because you still got stuff like birthdays that come up,
Yes.
that'll make somebody think of that person.
Significant date, holidays. Yes.
Because what if they were like the person that hosted the holidays? What if they were the person that, cooked all the meals? What if they were the person that planned everything,
Yeah, and you know what? Your mom's case, anniversaries.
Yep.
If you lose your spouse,
yeah,
then that significant day when you the anniversaries and stuff, you guys' anniversary. And when we lost our dad, when I lost my dad was killed at the beginning of June. He was buried the Wednesday. Was the Wednesday or Thursday? Wednesday before Father's Day. He got buried that Wednesday before and Father's Day turned around to be that Sunday.
Yeah.
And that means it's still we just buried my dad, and now Father's Day, I can't pick up the phone and say Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Yeah.
So I dealt with that grief and everything, but I sought out counseling.
Yeah.
And Dr. Day
really, then he got killed on our anniversary.
That is another grief stricken. He got killed on June 2nd, 2020. We got married June 2nd, 2021. I mean 2001 and everything. He was killed on our anniversary.
Yeah.
So that has another significant meaning and everything. It like put a cloud over our anniversary.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm sorry, better cut you off. But you know what? Even I would say like the first, because it's been 5 years
Yeah.
that he's been gone. I think that even like the first year when he passed, it was hard.
Yeah.
Because again, his death is now the same day as when he died, as our anniversary.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that first probably 3 years, it was hard to kind of get past that. It's like, okay, we supposed to be celebrating our anniversary. This is what we supposed to be doing. But at the same time, we were still, grieving and stuff. And so I think the last couple years, we just really have been pushing past that, you know, even when we did the this past anniversary, we
Yeah.
decided to do a day trip that was much needed. We went up to Chicago, went to church, ate, went to a nice restaurant, ate, and just enjoyed the day,
Yeah.
and just had fun. And that's what we needed. And like I told Brian, I said,
It was much needed.
yeah, when we celebrate our anniversary, let's not celebrate like saying, oh, this is when dad got killed or whatever. Let's just celebrate and just focus on the good,
That's it.
And that's what you have to do. Because if you just harp on, oh my gosh, our wedding anniversary is coming up and this is what happened on this day.
Yeah.
We have gotten past that. And I'm so glad we have. Not to, disrespect my father in love. It's just the fact that he will want us to keep living. He will want us to enjoy our anniversary,
And that's
and
another thing with the grief process. The person that passed away and we're grieving over, they want us to continue to live in life.
Yeah.
They want us to
live your life.
We got to continue to live our life. That person who we lost wants us to continue to live. Continue to live. Me and my cousin Adam, we had a conversation the other day, and we were talking about grief and everything. And he lost his mom, and we were talking about grief, and we were saying how many people are on the other side that say, hey, if they was given the opportunity to come back here to this earth, how many do you think would actually want to come back? None. None probably want to come back here because they got a glimpse of what glory and what the other side look like. They don't want to come back here to this foolishness that we got going on here on the earth. But like we said, though, that is something that was we just discussed and everything. So like a mixture of emotions and everything. But the main thing with grief is be there for that person. Be there for that person. Help them through the grief process, because the grief process is real. The grief process is serious. So we want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. We are right at time, man. We thank you all for tuning in, man.
And if you have any comments or anything that you want to leave in the comment section and we come back and answer, feel free to do that. If it's about grief, marriage, supporting your spouse during the grief process.
Yes.
You can just drop us a comment and share this podcast, because you don't know how many people are grieving that need to hear this.
Yes, you never know who's grieving, man.
Yeah.
And we don't want to grieve in silence. We want to grieve to help people. And that's what it is. We want people to be helped and everything, to help them navigate through this difficult time in life. So that's what we want people to do, man.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for tuning in, man. This was therapeutic for us too. I'm telling you, this is therapy for us as well. So we thank you for tuning in, being a part of our show and everything. We want you just to like, share, and subscribe. You want to email us a suggestion or something, email us at the powwow powwow at gmail.com. That's our email address. the powwow@gmail.com.
He gonna get it together, y'all.
I'm gonna get it together. It's already together. But
You're
thank
welcome, Sonia. She said thank you.
Sonia, we appreciate you and
Yes.
everything, man. But with that being said, man, thank you guys for tuning in,
Yes.
being a part of our show and everything. And we thank you, we thank you, we thank you.
Yeah.
With that being said, I'm Brian.
I'm Vanessa.
And we're the pals. We're out.